I genuinely want to know why black men make dating so difficult. They make it.
Hi, I have an answer, and it's simply because they don't have money. So I've been thinking about this a lot as it relates to my personal dating life. A lot of my friends who are black women who are in their late 20s, early 30s, who have been struggling with dating, who prefer to date black men, and have been doing it in comparison to my white peers and some peers outside of like other races, but specifically my white peers, as to why we all went to similar schools. We all went to similar schools. We all have similar educational backgrounds. We all work similar jobs. For bar, we would say we would live very similar lives, except I just oscillate in primarily black spaces and they oscillate in primarily white spaces. With that said, I think it's because white people, but specifically white also men, are raised in the way that they have generational wealth, but a generational wealth mindset, meaning that they saw their parents get paired off and married, within their 20s. They have grandma's ring and heirlooms. They have a house that they know that they will inherit. They have a mindset knowing that even if they lose their job at Goldman Sachs or in tech or whatever, that they have this sort of privilege that they know that they'll always be fine and they know that they'll always be able to take care of their family. So even though they're in build mode, they're not necessarily worried that they would lose everything. And I think that mindset is different for black men, meaning that they spend a lot of their 20s and even in their early 30s really trying to play a game of like financial catch up, really trying to get themselves established. And because they're playing that game, they play games in other areas, meaning that they don't necessarily take things seriously in terms of getting married, having kids, buying a home, starting family, because those things require money. And if you don't have it, they're not necessarily going to, just take those things seriously. And again, I was just really thinking as to like why I'm in my late 20s. A lot of my friends are in our late 20s to early 30s, and we're still like dating and on dating apps and dealing with games and all the shenanigans that come with dating black men. But then when I look at the Jennies, the Tiffany's, and the whatevers of the world, a lot of them who I have worked with or work with, why they all, ironically enough, got engaged all at 27, 28, around the same time. And it felt kind of like sorority-like, very systematic. And again, it's that peer influence around them. If they see all their friends doing the things, and this goes for men too, they're going to go do those things as well. If they saw their parents do it, they're going to go do it as well. And I don't think black men saw it from their fathers. And they also didn't necessarily and don't necessarily see it from their peers around them. So they don't also feel kind of that social influence to do those things, especially for black men in major cities like a New York, LA, a Chicago, a Miami, maybe even Houston. Maybe in the South it might be a bit different. There's more I can say on this, and I've been doing a lot of research. I'm actually going to write an article about it, just the differences and nuances between being a black woman dating versus like my white contemporaries and their dating experiences. But yeah, the one factor that it boils down to is money. And if you don't have it, you're not able to progress forward in dating.
Man, so she's calling the bros broke at this point. Baby, and so I'm doing like this paper on it, and I'm doing a study, and like guys in their 20s and their early 30s, they're all about playing games. Baby, let's get one thing straight. I don't recommend any man getting married in his 20s. Not every white man has generational wealth or is going after generational wealth. That's ultimately the goal that people want. It's not that a black man doesn't want to have generational wealth, but we know that there is a difference in terms of home ownership, in terms of businesses, entrepreneurship between whites and blacks, and the fact that whites outnumber blacks overall. So when you talk about the dating pool and black women wanting to get married in their 20s, not so. You're not really going to find that with guys your age. If you talk about your contemporaries in terms of white women in their late 20s, the mindset of white women is different in terms of how you're raised. And black women are raised to be independent. I don't need a man. get your education. You can take care of yourself. You're going to college to get your education. You're not going to college to network or find a husband or to get in those different rooms or access to those different rooms. You're looking to compete. The white woman's not looking to compete, even though they created the whole feminist movement. She's not looking to compete. She's going to college to network and to find a husband, not to compete or outdo the husband. Unlike the black woman, white men aren't getting married like that in their 20s either, unless he is coming from a place of wealth and things like that. But the 20s is the time for you to be ferocious as a young man, getting after your goals. How can you support a household in your 20s when you're not financially set? A man doesn't hit his financial stride till his mid to late 30s and early 40s. If that's the case, if you want a man that's financially stable, then you get with a man around that age. You keep talking about these men want to get with younger women. These younger women who don't want to work should know they want to get with a man that's able to provide. Or she's just going to have to wait till later on in life. This is just crazy. The black man is broke. He's raised differently. Come on, baby. White men aren't after marriage unless it's just a hometown girlfriend or a high school sweetheart or the family arranged the marriage or something like that. But in terms of American culture, it's not going down like that. I'm looking at this and they just want to play games. You don't think white dudes be playing games with women? They're not really serious. They'll mess with Hispanic women, black women, Asian women, but ultimately he'll settle down with who it is that he could see himself having a future with and kids with. So don't just say it's just the black man and there's a money thing. Y'all ladies will date the brokest dude and know it. You'll marry the brokest dude and you'll pay for everything. But let's get on to another clip with a young lady that had reacted to this video. Let's go.
I usually only come on here to serve looks, but today I'm going to talk. The way white men versus black men approach dating are very different, and what it really does come down to is the lack of money that black men have. This is from a social and generational standpoint. So a white boy I've talked to in the past, the way he dated me was very intentional. He was very assertive, and he just had a provider mentality. And this is because he had a white father treat his white mother in a two-parent household in that way. A lot of black men sadly don't have these same experiences because they never saw their black father treat their black mother in that way because their black father was never around when they were growing up. This is what I mean by generational, because this is an overlap we see when these black boys grow up and they treat the mother of their child in the same exact way they saw their own mothers get treated by black men. Black women are married at disproportionately lower rates than white women, and the reason why is because black men aren't really taught to grow up, marry a black woman, and stay for the children. No, this isn't black men's fault. It actually roots back to segregation and even gentrification, when black men would try and go out and get jobs, but no place would hire them because they were racist, and this would then have an impact on that black man's family dynamic and how he would be able to provide. So like I said, money. We still see effects of this today, and it's the reason why we know so many more black mothers who are single and were never married than we do know white mothers who are single and never married. Black men aren't the only problem. The other problem is black women. A lot of black women are enablers, and when somebody watches a crime happen and does not stop the perpetrator, the person who watches it happen is often just as bad as the criminal. It really just makes me ask questions like, why choose this partner? Why choose to have a second child? Why stay in an 8-year-long situationship? We really need to ask these questions, or generational curses will continue to haunt our community, and we will see a rise in the number of black men who are not taking care of their children. A lot of black men will try and make the point that black men nowadays are starting to date more white women because black women are too hard to deal with, have really bad attitudes, or are too dominant. But when we do see this happening, it's usually black men who make a lot of money, such as NFL athletes or actors who make 7 figures. Of course, these white women aren't going to be hard to deal with or put up with because their black husbands and boyfriends are providing for them. However, the same cannot be said for an everyday black man who is not making even 6 figures, who is trying to court and talk to an everyday black woman. Not to mention, a lot of these black women assume dominant roles because of the fact that they have to go out and be the breadwinner to then come back home and raise their children on their own. Many who are abandoned by the father of their children and also their own father growing up. I think it's important to bring up how white dominance is playing a huge role in this, and these are just the effects of slavery, and one really big way we can see this is through our own music. We do this in the way that we portray black relationships. We don't promote marriages, we promote baby daddies, and we also overly sexualize the black female body, and this comes from not only male rap but also female rap. Many black men, of course not all, are not able to afford marriages, let alone afford dates. I will even go to the extent of saying why a lot of black men want to be pursued first or be the ones who are provided for is because this is what their single black mothers did for them when they grew up, treated them like a husband. Many black men were just not able to have the opportunity for a black father, a black man to be in their life and teach them how to treat and court a woman the same ways we see other races treat and court their women.
Now, she said a mouthful there, but I do like that she didn't ultimately blame the black man and say everything is the black man's fault. Black women do have to take some self-agency and accountability in this entire situation because they will lay down with the pookie. They are raised a certain way. They're socialized a certain way. And music, media, and all these things influence this whore culture, this Cardi B culture, if you will. And fellas, I can say that we are products of our environment, but you can grow up and change and want better out of life. And it doesn't matter sometimes, and I get it, and even black women know that other black women are hard to deal with. It's just you can have all the money in the world, but if she's raised a certain way or socialized a certain way, then she's still going to have that chip on her shoulder and talk to you and not be agreeable or submissive when it comes to that. And that's just the fact of the matter. Money does accomplish things. And then nowadays, how many black women really want to get married? I know 1 in 4 black women will get married in their lifetime. That's 25% of all black women. But how many of them would rather be a baby mama? And I'm just being honest with you. Just use a man for his seed. Send him on about his way. You talk to him any kind of way. Don't want him to see his child. You make it hard for him to see his child. And you talk bad about him to the child and deal with multiple men because you want to be this fairy tale doll out of a cartoon or out of a movie who has every man sexualize them or look at them as an object or a thing of beauty. We can just go as far as saying the BBL culture in itself. Look what you're raising, the sons, the daughters that you're raising into this world. They're seeing that you have no respect for yourself or the man. You talk any kind of way, the music you listen to, and it just comes out of your pores. You have a lot of pookies out here, but you do have a lot of men who want the best and who want to settle down with a woman and show her a better life and things like that, but sometimes she's just not going for it. Women like excitement. They don't like the boring life, and this just goes for women in general, not just black women. Black women will tell you what's on their mind, and they'll have no problem disrespecting you or find some way to be argumentative in a situation because things have to go their way, and there's no room for leadership because a lot of times there was no leadership in the household. Unless she comes from a loving family, then she'll learn to respect the man and know what to look for in a man. But this young lady went up and she talked about segregation and she talked about gentrification. When it comes to generational wealth, which I should have said on the previous video, yes, a lot of those things in America for the black man in America early on, he was excluded from those things. Getting a home loan, getting a loan in general, jobs, good jobs being available other than creating your own job. And even when you create your own job, a lot of times those things were made difficult to get supplies and other things like that unless he was creating himself or somebody came in and took it from him. But these are just things as far as living in America, growing up in America during a certain period in time. But a man, if he wants to do right, he'll do right. But he can't do right with a woman that's not agreeable and that's not on the same page. That's why ultimately you need to find somebody that's right for you. You can't just say a black man's too broke to date or too broke to have a family. It's about what you want at the end of the day. If you look to social media as the litmus test for a good relationship or what a relationship would look like, then go ahead and be single for the rest of your life and deal with multiple men until you depart. But anyway, dating is dating. This Cheesecake Factory stuff, that's not enough and I need to have a $400. But then you probably just gonna have a hard time and you're just gonna deal with the pookies who's not gonna give you any of that, who's just gonna smoke you out, and whatever you cook for them is gonna be the date for that night. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. This is BS, man. Comment below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit me up on Linktree to book a one-on-one with yours truly. Purchase all my books, merch, t-shirts. It helps to support the channel. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. With that being said, much blessings and abundance. Stick around for the next video that's going to pop up on the screen below. That's where I'm going to see you guys at. It's your favorite everything. This is Wisdom. I'm out of here. Peace.